You've been curling for 6 months. Every Monday, every arm day, the same dumbbell, the same mirror, the same prayer, and your arms look exactly the same. Let me ask you something. Why is the one muscle group everyone can see, the one thing that fills out a sleeve, the thing people actually notice when you reach across the table, the same muscle group that refuses to grow no matter how many curls you crank out? For years, they've told you, curl more, squeeze at the top, slow it down, go heavier. The curl is king. Never skip arm day. But what if I told you that science just proved the standard curl is one of the least efficient ways to build your arms? There's a movement that puts your bicep under more tension in the position where growth actually happens, with less joint stress and a fraction of the recovery time. And most people in the gym have never tried it. Here's what nobody tells you about the curl. When you do a standard dumbbell curl standing up, something weird happens at the top of the rep. Your bicep almost stops working. Think about it. When the dumbbell reaches shoulder height, gravity is pulling straight down, but your forearm is now nearly vertical. The resistance profile drops off almost completely at the very point you think you're squeezing the hardest. Researchers call this the resistance profile problem. The curl only loads your bicep maximally in a narrow range, around the midpoint, and then lets it off the hook at the bottom and top. You're doing 12 reps, but your bicep is only working hard for maybe a handful of them. But that's not even the most important part. In 2023, researchers published a study in the journal Sports comparing two different ranges of motion in the arm curl. One group trained the bottom half of the curl only, the stretch position where the arm is extended. The other group trained the top half. They found that the group training in the lengthened, stretched position built more overall muscle and saw greater strength gains. The study was led by Pedrosa and colleagues, and it built on a growing body of evidence that where you load a muscle matters as much as how much weight you use. Let me put that another way. The hard part of the curl, the bottom, where you feel the most pull, is the part that actually makes your arms grow. And the standard curl rushes through it to get to the easy top portion where nothing significant is happening. Jeff Nippard, a natural pro bodybuilder with a biochemistry degree, went through nearly every bicep exercise on record using peer-reviewed EMG data. His video ranking bicep exercises has over 8 million views, which tells you exactly how many people share this frustration. His conclusion? Most people are doing the wrong curl, not just the wrong weight. So what does work? It's called the incline dumbbell curl. And I know that sounds nearly identical to a regular curl, but the difference is everything. Here's the science. When you set a bench to about 45 degrees and lie back on it, your arms hang behind your body. That position puts your bicep in what's called a fully lengthened state before you even pick up the weight. You are loading the muscle exactly where the research says growth happens. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Human Kinetics, led by Zabaleta Corda and colleagues at the University of the Basque Country in Spain, tested this directly. They compared incline curls to preacher curls, measuring actual muscle thickness changes using ultrasound imaging before and after 9 weeks of training. The incline curl, which loads the bicep in a more stretched shoulder position, produced distinct growth patterns compared to the preacher curl, which loads it more in the shortened position. This added to a growing body of evidence that loading a muscle in its stretched position is a powerful driver of hypertrophy. But here's how most people completely ruin this exercise. They set the bench too upright, 70 or 80 degrees, which barely puts the arms behind the body and turns it back into a seated curl. Or they swing their elbows forward at the top to chase the squeeze, which eliminates the entire reason the exercise worked. Here's how to do it correctly. Set the bench to 45 degrees. Sit back fully so your whole back and head are against the pad. Pick up the dumbbells and let your arms hang completely straight down. Feel that stretch in both biceps. That pulling sensation? That's the tension that matters. Now curl. Your elbows stay pinned behind your body the entire movement. Don't let them swing forward. The moment your elbow drifts in front of your torso, you've shortened the bicep and killed the tension that makes this exercise special. Squeeze at the top, hold for 1 second, then lower slowly. Take 3 full seconds to return to the bottom. That slow negative is not optional. Evidence on eccentric loading consistently shows that the lowering phase is a meaningful driver of muscle growth. Most people drop the weight back down in half a second and leave a significant portion of their gains on the floor. Use a weight where 8 to 10 reps brings you close to failure. If you can do 15 without strain, go heavier. If you can't get 6 with control, go lighter. Do 3 to 4 sets per session, 2 to 3 times per week. Your arms will be sore in 48 hours in a way they probably haven't been in months. That's your bicep actually responding to real mechanical tension for the first time. Now here's the thing. The incline curl is the anchor, but if you're serious about getting your arms to actually look like arms, you need to understand that biceps are only half the equation. The muscle that takes up more than 2/3 of your upper arm volume, your triceps. And most people in the gym are training them with the least effective exercise possible. I'll get to that in a moment. But first, here's why your biceps aren't the only thing holding you back. Here's what the data actually says about arm training. A systematic review and meta-analysis led by Brad Schoenfeld at Lehman College, published in Sports Medicine in 2016, looked at the effects of training frequency on muscle growth. When weekly volume was equated, training a muscle twice per week showed superior growth compared to training it once per week. The conclusion: for most people, spreading your arm training across at least 2 sessions per week is better than cramming it all into one. 2 sessions of 5 sets outperforms 1 session of 10 sets. Not because the total work is different, it isn't, but because your biceps are a relatively small muscle that recovers quickly. Hammering them once a week and then letting them sit idle for 6 days wastes their recovery capacity. The second thing the data reveals is about supination. Your bicep has 2 jobs: flexing your elbow and rotating your forearm so your palm faces up. Most people know about the flexion part. Almost nobody trains the supination part deliberately. A study published in PLOS One in 2023 by Markelen and colleagues measured muscle activation across different hand grip positions during curls. They found that bicep activation during the lifting phase was roughly 19% higher with a fully supinated grip, palm facing up, compared to a neutral or pronated grip in practice. If you curl with your thumb pointing at the ceiling the whole time, you're leaving bicep activation on the table. Actively rotating your palm upward as you curl recruits more of the muscle's capacity. Same weight, same reps, just rotate. Now let me give you 3 more exercises the data supports, because the incline curl alone isn't a complete arm program. Number 1, chin-ups. I know what you're thinking, that's a back exercise, but EMG research consistently places chin-ups among the top bicep movements. A 2016 study published in the Journal of Electromyography and Kinesiology by Dickey and colleagues measured muscle activation across 4 pull-up grip variations: supinated, pronated, neutral, and rope. The supinated grip chin-up produced the highest bicep brachii activation of any variation, confirming what the anatomy already suggests. With your palms facing you, your biceps are in their strongest position for elbow flexion. The key is grip and range. Use a supinated grip, palms facing toward you, not neutral or overhand, and go all the way down to full elbow extension on every single rep. Most people stop 30 degrees short of the bottom to avoid the hard part. That's exactly the part you need. 3 to 4 sets of as many clean reps as you can manage. If you can't do bodyweight chin-ups yet, use an assisted machine or a resistance band. If you can do more than 12 clean reps, add weight. Number 2, the Bayesian cable curl. This is done at a cable machine with the cable set at the lowest position, facing away from it. As you curl, the cable pulls your arm back behind your body, placing your bicep in a lengthened, stretched position under load throughout the range of motion. Here's the key distinction from dumbbells. Dumbbells only load you based on gravity, which means tension drops to near zero at the very bottom and top of most curl variations. A cable maintains tension through the full arc of movement. That constant tension in the stretched position is exactly what the lengthened loading research points to. Be aware, a 2025 EMG study comparing the Bayesian curl to the standard dumbbell curl found that raw peak muscle activation was lower in the Bayesian curl. So it's not about generating more peak force, it's about sustaining meaningful tension at the point where growth stimulus is highest. These are different mechanisms, and the Bayesian curl earns its place in an arm program for exactly that reason. Set up at a low cable, step forward, hold the handle with a supinated grip, curl slowly, and extend your arm fully back between every rep. 3 sets of 10 to 12 will humble you. Number 3, overhead tricep extensions. For the part of your arm nobody trains right, the triceps make up roughly 2/3 of your upper arm's muscle mass. That's not a motivational line, it's anatomy. So if your arms look small, your triceps are a bigger part of the problem than your biceps. Most people train triceps with pushdowns, and pushdowns are fine, but they primarily load the lateral and medial heads of the tricep. The long head, which crosses the shoulder joint and produces that full, thick look from behind, only gets meaningful stretch when your arm is raised overhead. A 2022 study published in the European Journal of Sports Science by Mayo and colleagues at Ritsumeikan University in Japan tested this directly. 21 participants trained one arm with overhead cable extensions and the other arm with cable pushdowns for 12 weeks. Arm showed roughly 40% more total tricep muscle growth than the pushdown arm. The long head specifically grew about 1.5 times more with the overhead movement. If you're doing one tricep exercise, make it an overhead movement. Overhead cable extensions, easy bar skull crushers, or even overhead dumbbell extensions all achieve this. 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 twice per week. Here's exactly how to lay out arm training using everything we've covered. 2 dedicated arm sessions per week. Section 1. Incline dumbbell curl, 4 sets of 8 to 10. Chin-ups, 3 to 4 sets to near failure. Overhead cable or dumbbell tricep extension, 3 sets of 10 to 12. Section 2. Bayesian cable curl, 3 sets of 10 to 12. Close grip bench or overhead cable extension, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10. That's it. 12 to 16 total arm sets per week, spread across 2 sessions. This is consistent with what the Schoenfeld frequency research found to be more effective than single weekly sessions. One more thing. The people with genuinely impressive arms, not just pump in the gym arms, but arms that look big in a t-shirt. Almost all train heavy compound pulling movements seriously. Heavy rows, weighted chin-ups, lat pull downs. Your biceps receive an enormous growth stimulus from heavy back training that no isolation curl can fully replicate. If your back training is weak, your arm training ceiling is low, fix your rows. Add a second arm session, switch to incline curls, rotate your palm. If you've been curling for months and your arms haven't changed, you don't need more sets. You need different stress, applied at the right muscle length with the right frequency, hitting all 3 functions of your upper arm, the incline curl, the Bayesian curl, chin-ups, and overhead tricep work. 4 exercises, twice a week. The science points here clearly. Your arms have been waiting for this. Drop a comment below with how long you've been doing curls without seeing real results. I read everyone.